So, hello and welcome to this episode of the Reimagine podcast. And today I am with a very special guest named Arj, who is how would you describe yourself, Arj?
I guess that's a really good question. I like to describe myself as a poet.
Okay, a poet.
Poet.
So, Arj the poet. And what we're going to be doing today is hearing a little bit of his reimaginative style and some of his perspectives and his philosophies. And it's really going to be an opportunity just for us to hear the voice of what I like to call global citizens, dreamers, and doers, people who have something to say and a message to share and a contribution of expression. So, Raj, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you believe needs to be reimagined in the world today?
Right. So first of all, maybe who I am is the more difficult question. But I grew up actually. So right now I'm 21 years old. I'm half Indian and half French, but I'm also mostly a citizen of the world. I grew up really in Africa, in Uganda, in Ethiopia, in France, in UK, in Sri Lanka. So I'm really a citizen of the world, and I think growing up in these settings, I've had the sensitivity to what words and what language can do among human beings, and so that comes to my kind of my vision for reimagining. Reimagining something, and that thing is how words are used. And I feel like today it's particularly tangible if you just take one single look at media, for example. It's particularly tangible that words are used very divisively, and these kind of discourses that some people will unite under those, and then other people will reject those, and it's this whole kind of battle of words that I see going on, and I've felt that really painfully. And actually, what I would like to reimagine is how we use words. It sounds difficult. Actually, it sounds really difficult to me still. But so, well, should I go on?
Of course, and that's the thing when we think about this conversation that is reimagining the dream, that is about reimagining what's possible. Sometimes when we say what we want to reimagine, it does sound crazy. It sounds like, whoa, who am I to even think that? Who am I to say that? But it's in the belief that you are a part of that rescripting of possibility that it becomes easier, realizing that you're not the only one reimagining language or reimagining communication or reimagining words. You are part of a group of individuals, many, many, many people around the world that are doing the same thing. And your contribution to that matters. And so I say that to you, to say that to me, to say that to all of us who are listening now, that we are all part of the rescripting and the re-architecting and the reanalyzing and reconceiving of possibility. And we do that in our different ways. And so I just wanted you to share with us your gift, and just whether it's with a poem or whatever it is, we'd love to hear the manifestation of that philosophy, that belief, that desire to reimagine communication or reimagine language.
Actually, you said poem. I didn't even plan on saying a poem, but I have one in mind. Just give me 1 second. Actually, I have a pretty good one in mind that talks about this. Yeah. Take a walk with the trees. Feel the breeze on your face. The air is like a melody that blows away our hate. Take it as a lesson. We all the same, you fancy ape. Yeah.
We are all the same, you fancy ape.
Yeah. I mean, like, so before we take it to literally, that's actually the hook of one of my raps. But I think the way in which this kind of works, or at least the way I see it working, is I want to kind of bring back this, I mean, this kind of, how can I explain this? I want to give new meaning to things that are actually so fundamentally what we are, you know what I mean? Like, we are nature. We are only one. We're not, you know, we're not separate. None of us are separate. Even with the trees, even with the, even with the bees, even with the, we're different. That's what happens. And I think that, well, at least my thought process a lot of the time when I write, and then when I perform, I like to be very suggestive and yeah, very kind of outgoing when I perform. But my state of mind is really that I want to bring about this unity beyond our preconceived ideas that we attach to words, beyond our constructed ideas that we attach to words. And yeah, and I hope to really develop that. And I hope to actually really make this something that people hang on to. Like, not necessarily my poem, but the idea behind the poem, or the motive behind the poem, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm working on that.
Wonderful. I love it. So what's so what I want to do is this, and we'll just keep going. So you spoke a little bit about, you know, just your desires and your vision, but I want to hear a little bit more about your journey. Like, what did you have to do to develop this perspective or this approach in the world? What was your journey of going from having this belief that, hey, you know, I really want to work in the realm of language. I really want to work in the realm of rap and music and poetry. And what did it take for you to develop this approach and the reimaginative process?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I would say there's a few things that I can think of and many things that I cannot think of. The few things that I can think of are the fact that I actually cannot really think of what is my hometown, where am I from, all these these are linguistic, or these are language constructions. Actually, where are you from, man? You know, what country are you from, or what's your hometown? Or these are kind of these kind of formulas that are developed in the way that we present our communication. And I've never known how to answer that, because I mean, I was born in India and moved to the UK real quick, and then moved to Ethiopia, and then moved to Uganda, and then moved to France, the countryside, and then moved to Switzerland, and I moved to Sri Lanka, and then moved back to France, and then moved to the capital, to Paris, and then I've been living in Rotterdam for a few years. And I think that as a child, the idea of, I mean, especially in these early years where you have this induction period of what things are, what things mean, and I've always had this reflection, man, what does it mean? So when I was in France, I would answer, oh, I'm Indian. But then when I was in India, I wasn't an Indian, because I don't speak the local language, and my skin is a little bit lighter than the locals over there. So I always had this, and this reflection, I think, about how language is constructed and how it kind of places people, it categorizes people into camps. I think is initially from this, is of never really feeling at home, or never really feeling at home, should I say. Although, I mean, I was always feeling great for seeing all these places, and I've learned so much from that. But I think that it's very much this. It's this kind of not fitting into the kind of preconceived formulas that were there already. And So yeah, I would continuously, I mean, whoever I'm talking with, I adapt the answer to where are you from. So that's one of the ways. But I think from having this reflection as I grew up, I think that really participated to me um, really feeling like the words actually construct so much of our mutual relations as human beings, and so much of our divisions among human beings, which are, for the most part, quite destructive. So,
Mhm. Sometimes quite destructive, and other times quite amazing and uplifting and transformational. And it's interesting because just that question itself has led you on generating so much beauty from trying, not really being able to answer that question, so creating a whole other paradigm and other experimentations through language because of that one central question that organizes. But for you, it wasn't necessarily an organizing structure. It was one that was kind of like a so it's almost like we have these questions that are posed to us that when we can't answer, we have to work through in order to come to peace, to a certain level of peace within ourselves, and there the wisdom emerges, would you say?
entirely, yeah.
So what is one piece of wisdom that you feel that you've been able to glean, in addition to, what the process of how that question supported you in coming to the desire to reimagine language itself? What is one insight or one piece of wisdom that you can help others who may be struggling with that question of home, or struggling with how do they break the confines of language, and how language itself may be holding them back? What is one piece of wisdom you can share from that?
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, I would definitely say create. Create something. Create something, whether it be for yourself, whether you share it with your family, your friends, or whether you go on and make that your whole life. Create something, because in the act of creating, you actualize who you are as an individual, but also as an individual within this beautiful, strange, universe, and you kind of actualize that, and you make it real. And so it's beyond the confines of what we linguistically or how to say, yeah, conceptually, or whatever you want to call it, can put on you. If you create something that comes from your own will, and it comes from your own passion, and you create a work of art, you create a poem, you I don't know, whatever it might be, I'm not going to list, but like, I think this is definitely my advice to anybody, and it doesn't even have to take the proportions of what one might associate with it. So, like, succeeding as an artist or whatever. But from the moment on that you affirm your humanity, and you affirm yourself as a beautiful human being, without it coming from the exterior, but with you pushing it onto the exterior. It in a way it affirms yourself, and it connects you so much, regardless whether you share it, whoever amount of people you share with. It connects you to this network of things that are beyond language and beyond these constructs. And I think that's my my advice, if you will.
Beautiful. Thank you. That is so powerful. Absolutely. Being able to create, and through creation we affirm, we express, we exist to ourselves, for ourselves, and then we also are able to share that with others. And so, speaking of sharing ourselves with others, if someone wants to get to know, connect, collaborate, hear you, how do we get in touch? Those the dreamers, the doers, the reimaginaries of the world, how would they get in touch with you?
Is this question like
Your website, your email, your Twitter handle, your Instagram, your Snapchat, whatever?
Yeah, no, I have a SoundCloud actually that I've been. SoundCloud is a music
Yep.
platform for independent musicians. So I've been working on that quite a bit. I have a few projects coming out. So go check me out. It's
What is the SoundCloud?
It's ARJ. My name ARJ. Just type it on SoundCloud, and the URL is soundcloud.com/ARJ-HM.
There you go. So there you have it. That is how you can connect to Arj and learn more about, you know, his journey of expression, the way in which he's reimagining language, and, you know, inviting you to do the same. So definitely connect. And it has been wonderful, Arj, chatting with you, learning more about your own journey and your own development. And I think many people, especially young people who are your age and beyond, you know, regardless of whatever age we are, we can find wisdom in what you're saying, because the creative journey and the journey for self-expression and the journey to break the limitations that we feel may exist inside and all around us is one that we all share, no matter how old we are. And so thank you for sharing so powerfully from your journey, and looking forward to hearing more of your brilliance. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share it.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much. Swaha.